Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do a book haul. Recently, I went to McKay Books in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I had a little time to kill before an appointment, and I decided to go to the happiest place in the world, McKay Books. By the way, McKay is not sponsoring this, but if anyone from McKays sees this or passes it along to McKays, I have about 3 or 4 bookcases full of books that I purchased at McKays, and about 2 bookcases that are used for holding DVDs at the moment, full of your products. So give me a shout out. I would love to hook up with y'all and do some work. But they're not sponsoring this. I'm just a really big fan and thought I would show you some of the incredible finds I had at McKay's. And I went into McKay's. I had a gift card. I had a little bit left on it, and I wasn't intending to spend a lot of money. But at McKay's, even not wanting to spend a lot of money is not a hindrance to getting a good amount of quality products. So let's take a look at what I got. And I'm mostly into history and political science. I love old U.S. history textbooks or U.S. history compilations because I like to see how the scholarship has changed and some of the horrendously bad takes that were out there in the past. And this is the Oxford History of the American People. I got this for 75 cents. And by the way, this is a really, really nice cloth version of this book. And really nice, elegant paper in it. It's by Samuel Eliot Morris. And it has a copyright of 1965. And I believe this would have been the 4th printing of this book. So 1965, and just really comprehensive history of the United States up to that point. Obviously published by Oxford University. So a great pickup there for 75 cents. For $2, I got an Encyclopedia of the South by edited by Robert O'Brien. It's got over 2,500 entries on all aspects of Southern history, religion, politics, culture, food. I'm a Southerner. I believe the South is a very interesting region to study. It's a vibrant region. It's a diverse region. So for $2, I picked up an Encyclopedia of the South, which was edited by Robert O'Brien. It's originally sold for $29.95 when it was originally published, and it has a 1985 publish date. So that is quite pricey for 1985. So a huge break on the price. For $1.50, I picked up the paperback version of Edmund Morris's first volume of his tremendous series on Teddy Roosevelt. And this is The Rise of Teddy Roosevelt. And this covers Roosevelt's life from his birth all the way up to 1901. So this gets us up to the point in September of 1901 when Theodore Roosevelt becomes president upon the assassination of President William McKinley. So this is a really good book. I had the choice between this and a hardcover. The hardcover edition was $3, and I got this for $1.50. The publish date on this volume is 1979, which was the original publishing date, and this paperback edition was published in April of 1980. I've actually had a chance to read part of this prior. I got up to the point where on the Roosevelt's about to go off to college, and he has a little bit of a fling with his future wife, Edith, but they are eventually were about to have their falling out before Theodore marries his first wife, falls in love, and has what can only be described as one of the most tragic days in anyone's life in American history of a prominent figure. His daughter is born. And then his wife dies from complications from childbirth, and his mother also dies. That is a heavy burden. And then he'll go out to the Badlands of the Dakotas to mourn and find himself. This next book is by Earl Black and Merrill Black. And it is The Rise of Southern Republicans. And it was 75 cents. And I do not know much about this book, but I am, like I said, I'm a Southerner. I like to study political history, and the rise of the Republican Party is one of the most consequential events in recent time, the party shift. This was published by the Belknap Press of Harvard University Press in the year 2002. It originally sold for $29.95. I got it for 75 cents. Again, just another really good find, and it was by a specialty print at a university. An academic book is always much more expensive than one of your more popular press books. So this right here, I'm looking forward to getting into that book. The Conservative Revolution for 75 cents. The Movement That Remade America by Lee Edwards. And this book originally sold for $27.50 in the United States and $41 in Canada. And it has a published date of 1999. And again, like I said, the rise of the modern Republican Party, the rise of conservatism is a very interesting subject to me. If you followed this channel for a while, my politics lean a little bit left, but I do love studying the rise of conservatism and how that movement has changed American life and American politics. So this book is interesting to me. I look forward to it. For $3, I picked up Amity Schell's wonderful biography of Calvin Coolidge. I've had a chance to actually read this before, and it was a library book, but I now have a chance to actually own it. This is a really, really good book on the life of the 30th President of the United States, Calvin Coolidge. Calvin Coolidge was a very conservative president, was very much against federal spending, and he is president from the death of Warren G. Hardin in August of 1923. He was vice president. He becomes president, gets elected in a landslide in his own right in 1924, and he leaves office in 1929, in March of 1929, and he leaves at the perfect time because the Great Depression occurs under Hoover, not under his watch. and therefore Coolidge escapes a lot of the blame of economic, responsibility, and often presidents get blamed too much for the condition of the economy. But Coolidge has somewhat escaped some of the blame. Although some historians are like, you know what? This originally retailed for $18.99. This book came out in the year 2013. Like I said, it's a really interesting book. Coolidge, as I'm recording this is the year 2024, was president a century ago. Interesting president to look at. The second volume of the Edmund Morris trilogy, there's a third one called Colonel Roosevelt, but this is called Theodore Rex, and this picks up where the rise of Theodore Roosevelt ends. It begins in September of 1901 with Roosevelt becoming president, and it ends in March of 1909 as Theodore Roosevelt is leaving the presidency to go off into retirement. So looking forward to that. One of the most consequential presidents in U.S. history. Like I said, I got $1 for $1.50. This is, let's see what the published date on this. I know there was a significant time difference. It was originally published in paperback or hardback in 2001, and 2002 was the paperback edition. So, yeah. This big boy, in more ways than one, look at that, Is My Life by Bill Clinton for 75 cents. When I saw that price, I had to have this. I have read a Cliff Notes version of this book before. This will now join A Promised Land, Decision Points, and a really nice copy of the personal memoirs of Ulysses S. Grant as presidential memoirs that I own. But Ulysses S. Grant is the gold standard. This book is definitely not that, but it is an interesting book. This book was published in 2004, and it retailed for $35. And this is a first edition. So, and yes, he does talk about what you think he would talk about in this book, and his response is he did it because he could. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up Blue Dress Bill Clinton. I don't want to get demonetized. White Flight by Kevin Cruz. This book was $2. I have actually read this. Atlanta and the Making of Modern Conservatism by Kevin M. Cruz. And this is a Princeton Press edition. Cruz is, of course, a professor of history at Princeton and a very prolific author on white backlash to the civil rights movement, and just a tremendous historian. I've read several books of his. I've actually read this before. This book was originally published in the year 2005, and This is the third printing and first paperback edition. So this edition that I have came out in 2007, and Cruz wrote the book in 2005. It's $2. I can guarantee you, because this is a University Press edition, that was not the case when this book came out. I'm not able to find the price on it, so we don't know how good of a deal we got. And finally, I have Slavery and Lincoln, Unnecessary, Unconstitutional, Uncivil War, and Aftermath by Spencer Gant. Now, I picked this up, and I almost put it down, but I said for 75 cents, I can read some lost cause propaganda nonsense. Because if you're going to debate these people, you need to know what BS arguments they're going to come up with to try to claim that the Civil War wasn't about slavery. That they're going to promote that fact. It was about slavery. Read the succession documents. Oh my God. He has no accolades, holds no superior diploma, right? He's written the viewpoint from a common man. And I can guarantee you, just right now, that this is going to be some lost cause, nonsense, propaganda. I, unfortunately, fall down the rabbit hole of reading their nonsense on the internet from time to time and want to pull my hair out. But for 75 cents, this is a pretty good price. It originally retailed for $14.95. Let's see what year this was published in. And it looks to me like this might be 2010. By Outskirts Press. I would venture to say that this is one of those books that you can get self-published on the internet. There's a ton of them on the web that will do this now. That's to me what this looks like. But for 75 cents, I think this was a good pickup. So yeah, I had a great time at McKays, and I paid a total. I had $5.21 remaining on the gift card. I paid $9.81 out of pocket for a grand total of $15.02. There was $1.27 in taxes that the state of Tennessee, I gladly paid to them. So yeah, there's my haul from McKay's Books in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They have a couple other locations. They have a location in Knoxville and a location in Nashville that I know for sure. And I believe they also have a location in Asheville, North Carolina. So, like I said, they're not paying me to promote this. Just a really big fan and thought I'd show y'all some of the cool stuff that I picked up at McKay's.